I'm in my rocking chair. What is up, peeps? We're gonna do a bit of a video today. I haven't done a video in a while because Paddy and I been busy, man. Over the summer, I was away a couple of times. Paddy was away for a while. We were working away at Triage, and now that we're back in college, Paddy's in college, I'm on placement, so we're busy. So I'm not gonna make any false promises and say that I'm gonna have a video for you every week. I'm just gonna make videos when I can because I like doing YouTube, and I'm kind of sick of writing long captions on Instagram because I can explain things better here. You get to hear me, see hear the tone of what I'm saying, so that you can't misinterpret things, and I can elaborate a bit better too. So I think all that's valuable. So I'm chilling here in my rocking chair. So I'm on placement in Peamount Hospital in Dublin at the moment in a respiratory rehab placement. So good crack, and living here in Rathcoole. So I'm here with my coffee, and today we're going to talk a little bit about something that I feel is incredibly important. And I'm not going to say that it's something that hasn't surfaced already, because I think it's something that people are more open to these days, particularly this year versus the last couple of years. But maybe that's just my own biases. But basically what I want to talk about is the concept of not trying to constantly pursue being leaner, or being leaner than your set point would want you to be, so to speak. So for me, I have a certain level of body fat that I know I can float around pretty easily while, eating more or less in accordance with my hunger cues, and not rigidly trying to make specific food choices or tracking calories or anything like that. And that's pretty much how I live most of the time. And for me, this is the first year that I feel I've really adopted the mindset of looking at the whole fitness thing as an investment. So looking at nutrition as a means of truly just being there to facilitate training and good performance in day-to-day life, and then looking at the adaptations that are coming from that as an investment for the future. And that's the type of mindset I want to get across to people. So I'm speaking to you as someone who is, like me, a member of the general population, all right? Your main goal isn't necessarily to compete in bodybuilding or any particular sport. Your main goal is to live a damn good life and maintain a healthy, strong, resilient body along the way. So to start off, what I want you to realize is that in order to build muscle, in order to build bone density, in order to improve your aerobic fitness, to do any of these broad stroke things that we call fitness, that make up the different components of fitness, in order to do that, you need to have sufficient energy. Okay, so you need to have the energy from the food that you consume to firstly fuel your training, and secondly to allow the adaptations to take place. Okay, so for example, you could do the exact same training session, at 2 points in the year, once when you're in a calorie deficit, once when you're in a calorie surplus, and not necessarily get the adaptations of the same session because you didn't have enough energy there to allow your body to build the new structures that it wants to build, and to allow you to adapt from that session. So I think that's obviously that is something that is very obvious, but for me and for a lot of clients, I feel like that's something that actually didn't click for a long time. As in, I kind of, it's almost like this procrastination. You're procrastinating on building something for the future because all you're worried about is just cashing in right now. So if you're that person that is not willing to invest in your fitness, whether it's your aerobic fitness, your strength, your muscle mass, if you're not willing to invest in those things for the long term, it's a bit like going down to, like doing a small bit of work and then going down to your bank and checking your account and being like, oh my god, how much do I have now? And you have like 30 euro and you're saving up for a car that's like 3,000 euro, and then you're like, but you spend that 30 euro anyway, and then you're back at the start. That's pretty much what happens when people, they spend 4 weeks eating enough food to fuel their training, and then they look in the mirror and they're like, oh damn it, I've got a small little pinch of belly fat, I can't deal with that, now I need to get rid of that, and they cash in too soon. And then you strip down the body fat and you realize, oh, I haven't gained any new muscle mass, but not only that, my fitness isn't actually going anywhere in terms of the markers I use to assess my progress, whether that is, your 5 kilometer run time, whether it's the amount of time you can run or cycle at a certain intensity for, whether it's, your max squat, whether it's your 10 rep max squat, whatever it is. If you're looking at those things and you're like, all right, these aren't getting any better, and my physique also hasn't changed, and all I'm really worried about right now is being lean, like what's that actually doing for you? Because that is essentially like materialism at play in the form of your own body. You're essentially being materialistic in terms of only valuing something that is just your physique. It's just that thing, it's like an image thing, and that's it. And you're not looking at what can you actually do, what are you investing in for the future. So it's pretty much like just going down to your bank account every week and buying yourself clothes or whatever until you have nothing left, and that's it. You've got no more money left. You've got nothing to invest in courses, that you would like to do to get better in whatever field you happen to be in, and it's the exact same with your fitness. So you do really need to, and I say you do really need to as if like I'm some sort of god, like this is something that I'm really been working on myself. And I just think it's incredibly important, as in like I don't think I'm someone who's ever been that perma dieter who tries to stay excessively lean, but there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people, particularly the people that a lot of you probably look up to. A lot of people that you look up to are obsessed with staying lean, and that's totally okay if you are, someone like Rob Lipsett, Joe Delaney, guys who are essentially making a really good living based on their physiques to some capacity. And that's not meant in any way to be a negative comment, because I look up to both of those guys and they're great guys. But the whole point is that a lot of you try to replicate the lives of people who actually make money from looking a certain way, and then you don't realize that you're actually putting a lot of effort into something that's purely for image, and then taking away effort that you could be allocating to your career or to potentially your sport. And that's another thing. A lot of people are actually competing in bodybuilding, a lot of people are competing in powerlifting, playing sports like GAA, and getting real caught up with staying lean all the time. And what you end up doing is taking away from your long-term progress. So you never actually give yourself the chance to build more muscle. You never give yourself the chance to build more strength. You never fuel yourself sufficiently to improve your aerobic fitness, to improve your sprint speed, to improve your football skills and stuff, because once you've done your regular training, you don't have the energy to do your skills training. Let's say you're a goalie and you do your skills training separate. You don't have the energy to do that because you're not giving yourself the energy via your diet. Okay, so I think it's important to kind of reframe your nutrition in that way. Okay, and the problem is a lot of people also look at it as being, I need to be trying to get really lean, or I need to be trying to gain weight really fast. And that's where people, that's why, that second option, gaining weight really fast, or being in a calorie surplus in general, people shy away from that because they associate it with gaining weight really fast. What you have to realize is that if you are at maintenance, eating at maintenance, whatever that level of calories is for you, then by definition, you're just maintaining your body weight there. Okay, minor fluctuations here and there either way, but you're just pretty much staying there, and you're giving your body enough to fuel itself. But the problem is people are so obsessed with changing their physique week to week, month to month, that they lose sight of the fact that that's not exactly normal. If you're just looking to improve certain components of fitness, you needn't necessarily be swinging your weight drastically in either direction. And even if you are the person who's trying to gain weight, trying to gain muscle, to really get the most out of that, then like being in a 200, maybe 300 calorie surplus is going to do you fine. And that's going to result in very gradual weight gain over time. Okay? So the big message I want to give out to you guys is to prioritize investing in the future. Okay? Because all you're getting out of staying really lean is instant gratification, okay? And you're actually conditioning yourself toward wanting that. So by obsessing over it, by constantly gauging like your progress, but maybe your self-worth on how much body fat you have, you're essentially conditioning yourself to only care about that, because you're taking your attention away from training because it's probably not getting any better. So why focus on that? And that's really what you should be focusing on. Training should be as it says on the tin, training. And that's more, to be fair, that's more for people who are quite serious. You know, you want to adopt that training mindset as opposed to just exercising. But even if you're just a casual exerciser, even if you're just someone who goes for a run every weekend, do you not want to be getting better? You know, if you're just someone who lifts 2 to 3 times a week, do you not want to be getting better? Of course you do. You know, even if you're someone who works a very demanding job, do you want to always be the person who has to restrict your calories so much and adopt so much nutritional discipline that, you know, it takes away from your work, you know, because you spend so much time meal prepping and worrying and not being able to eat with friends and go out and enjoy yourself because you're constantly focused on restriction? Like, you don't always want to be that person. I'm sure you don't. I know I don't. And this is something that, you know, I really work on and Paddy really works on with our clients, because a lot of people come to us with the goal of fat loss. You know, it's undoubtedly the most common goal that people have. And what ends up happening is there comes a point where I've had that conversation with a client where I'm like, you know, you're actually pretty lean. Like, do you really want to get leaner? What is it going to do for you? And because it's often, you know, females, but males also, but often females that have tried to diet for years and years, never really made any progress. And when it comes to that point of switching their mindset, it's a really difficult, you know, thing to do, because the goal has always been to lose weight. Now that you've lost it, it's like, oh yeah, I want to keep going. But do you really? You know, what are you basing that on? Like, do you really want to walk around with shredded abs all the time? Like, maybe you do, but most people, I think when you really dig deep into it, they don't. Because a lot of people have career goals. You know, a lot of people have even longer term performance goals. You know, I've got some clients who play GA and they had a weight loss goal, but then we have to have that conversation and say, look, any more weight loss and being in a calorie deficit for a longer period of time, it isn't necessarily benefiting your sport. If we were to gain some muscle, build up some strength, you know, build up some speed, build up some aerobic fitness, that might benefit your sport. But you know what that's going to involve? That's going to involve us eating to fuel your training. So you have to be willing to make that switch. And it doesn't mean that you have to start gaining weight. It just means that you have to start fueling your training, which pretty much by definition is eating around your maintenance level of calories. If you want to optimize your adaptations to training that you're doing, being in a slight surplus is probably a good idea. But obviously you have to consider that if you're an athlete playing sport, then you don't obviously want to be continuously gaining weight like someone who's trying to gain muscle. But in your off season, that might be a different story. So it's just a couple of thoughts. Just thought I'd put together that video, share some thoughts, because I think it's important, and I think from observation, I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with. I think people really are stuck in that mindset of, I'm either doing everything to try and get lean or I'm off track. You see it all the time. People are like, oh, I've been off track for a few months, time to get back on track. And that involves dieting and training consistently. But when they're not dieting, their training consistency goes out the window. And then as a result, because you're not training at the time you could actually maximize adaptations, you end up spinning your wheels. So yeah, just some tips. My coffee's going to be going cold, guys, so we'll leave it there. And do please share some thoughts below. I'd also love if you'd ask some questions, because realistically, I don't have a life that is vloggable, you know. So I'm not going to be like vlogging my life and showing you all the exciting things I'm doing, because it's just it's not a thing right now. After college, that'll be more of a thing. But for now, I just want to be able to answer questions that you guys have, share some thoughts, and preferably make them interactive by you actually asking questions back, responding, etc. So thanks for watching, guys, and of course, be happy. Oh yeah, I should probably add as well, now that it's not just my old YouTube channel where I used to always say be happy, we should probably say, remember, it's too easy as well, because that's the triage motto. Too easy. Alright, guys, on that note, let this boy dig into his dark chocolate. Green and Black's favorite dark chocolate. That's 85%. I think they do a 90. I'm not totally sure. And some coffee. Grab a cup of sunshine. Peace out.